and we had a lot to say as a collective, and I was part of it. And even if I didn't talk, I didn't condemn either.
Right.
So I'm guilty by association.
Remember Kevon and Kosi, that's the same thing. This lady gets such a fine abuse from the opposition coalition. You
Meddling,
understand me?
all manner
You
of things.
remember the had persons, Sherrod and a couple other persons saying that the lady gonna be fired and
Yeah,
the
when
US
Biden
calling
comes
her
in,
back. Biden is coming to take her back to the States and all sorts of things they're talking about this woman. And this poor lady stand up there at High Street at Ashman's building and watch the worries these people do. You understand me? Thank God that she was there. Thank God at the ABCE. I ain't gonna call them out. ABCE, right? I thank God that they were there. Not to say Guyanese didn't have the acumen to deduce the rigging that was taking place, but to give what Guyanese saw more credibility on the international stage, America, Britain, Canada, and the European Union. They all saw it. They all saw it, and that is one of the things that allowed the coalition to continue to fall from grace, because their
and
disgraceful behavior, they couldn't even admit to what they did.
in this in the current construct, you said a thing earlier with Mr. Norton. After being elected, he started displaying his poor leadership quality. You can remember when the post for the leader of the opposition was contested between Mr. Norton and the former president. Oh shit, sorry, the former minister of state. Same thing, like, but let me put it as it was put to me, like put I said
Official, call
it.
your official
Yes.
positions.
And just how I buy it, I selling it back. The former minister of state. You know, on a serious note, that was a poorly contested Congress. So even
Yeah.
though even though persons were forced or were at a point where they had to choose the lesser of two evil, it was a minimal amount of the persons choosing the lesser of the two evil. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know, probably with Annette saying all these things, Annette probably has some form of ambition. And it's nice for people to be ambitious. I like it. But hopefully
I
you
I
can't have public ambition with them kind of attitude. Mm-mm.
No, but I thought you were going to say Annette looking to be the next leader
No,
of the
no.
opposition.
That's not me place to say that. That's not me business either.
Because I am wondering what could be going on in her head to think that she would make a good leader of the opposition. Um, Firstly, the fact that they don't do too well with numbers is a main issue for me, right? And the fact that they are unable to put forward a proper plan in parliament to let people know what they want to do and how they plan to get it done. That is very frightening. We want this person to actually run as a presidential. But matter of fact, just to be clear, I just wanted to be clear. Whether she's opposition leader or not, I don't think that there's anything that can be done on their part to win the hearts and minds of Guyanese after that traumatic experience, 2015 to 2020, inclusive of those 5 months that Guyana was held at ransom by the now political opposition. You understand me?
And that's a good
And
point.
and Kosi, the sad part about it is that these people are in power. You understand? These people are in power. And it was the most sloppy attempt at rigging an elections that I've ever seen. And I see plenty, I still a little young. You understand? Barnum used to do better than that with less resources. Because they had all them thing in back in the day to help the situation. And Barnum did better with less resources. Not that what he was doing was right. But oh my God. Oh my God, brother.
If I may, I was having a discussion over the weekend, and I was saying that the former president, David Granger, had at, I think it was at a Congress or at a something the PNC had, he had vowed to return the party to the Bornamite way. And many persons, when they saw the rigging attempt, the pitiful rigging attempt, they thought, oh, we return. No, that's not the Bornamite way. Bornham, as history has it, because nobody gonna say I say, as history has it, was successful in his rigging attempts because he governed as a result of rigging the elections.
Right,
So,
right, right.
and I use an analogy. So Bonham, he rigged, touchdown, rig again, touchdown. I think it was 3 times. Rig again, height come move on, and the stop. David Granger, that was just a flat line. It's just the plane never took off the runway. His rig crash. Failed.
So just to give you an idea of the worries that David Granger was, however you want to put it, right? Whilst Burnham was president or prime minister, whatever you want to call it, David Granger, as a brigadier, was never given full superintendency over the Guyana Defense Force by Burnham. You understand me? And to me, that speaks volumes. This guy never saw it in the vision, Burnham, to say, well, Granger as an army officer displayed leadership to the level that we could put him in charge of the GDF. So I don't know who was the bright minds that brought up David Granger as a presidential candidate, because he failed miserably as a president, in my personal opinion. I think David Granger was the worst president that Guyana has ever had. The worst president. Guyana accomplished nothing under David Granger and his administration. Nothing other than a couple of old buses, a few old boats, and a rotting stadium at Homestretch Avenue. That is about it. David
It's
Granger
almost rotten. It's almost, it's
and well, right, and a few cardboards that we can't use anymore that were cut out in his likeness. That is all that this country would have benefited from David Granger. You understand? And even persons would have said that his time as president, he wasn't even really the president. They had other powers that were pulling his strings, and he couldn't say anything. You understand? They even had persons who told me during that election period that Granger wanted to get out of office. He didn't want to be in the political limelight anymore. He wanted to be in bed by 7:30, enjoy his new big house wherever it is. I know where it is, but I ain't gonna tell people, and then you hear I trying to put the former president in danger. No, but enjoy his big house. And my thing is, Nkosi, these persons who talk about corruption and all these other things, you notice the transition. Now, if you say you're living in big house all the time, I understand. Right? You're living in your big house, you're enjoying yourself, you got money, good.
life nice.
Life nice for you. But I just look at the humble beginnings of some of these politicians, especially on the opposition side. Now, remember, the PPP were in office for 23 years. So you had persons in opposition for 23 years. And they would have had some are lawyers, some are doctors, so they're making money. Then you have some who used to work at the post office as I think a postmaster, one or a postal clerk, or some worries like that. Very humble beginnings, riding a 70. I think it was a blue or a gray 70, round the place.
Humble
You understand? Humble beginnings.
Start from the bottom.
Now, when you look at those persons in that 5 years, now, me say you can't accumulate wealth in 5 years. But in Nkosi, a regular 2-story house is worth $17 million, $20 million for bill. When I look at some of these houses that some of these persons from humble beginnings have, it shocked me how you acquire all this wealth in this short space of time, that you're able to throw up a house about like 3-4 lots one time. Wow. You understand me? And nobody in questioning nothing. Nobody in questioning nothing.
No, there's not. There's a certain member of the opposition. I mean, I don't know, like, it's something like they said, like, like your house. Because I can't see that in 3 years I could build such a big house. But you'd never see me on the streets. Never.
Bro,
What
bro.
in police for?
Bro.
What am for going people area for abuse them out of the area? I them up Palace.
Now look at the difference. Let me look at the last two presidents that they had, right? So is Granger and Ramutar, right? Now, for those who don't know, Granger used to live opposite the culture center in a bungalow. You hear me? If you are passing the culture center on Mandela Avenue, you're coming across from the Chinese embassy, and you look on the left hand side, they got a little house right on the road front with somebody who plant some trees very wild. They didn't cater for the root structure of those trees because the trees them sucking on each other. They can't bear. They just plant up a whole set of trees in front of it there. That's where Granger came from, right? And after he left, he moved into a posh green building on the East Bank. Not gonna tell you all exactly where. Now look at President Ramutar. Now when President Ramutar entered office, he entered office from the house he lived at on the East Coast. Stayed at State House. When he exited office, he went back to the house he
Yes.
had on the East Coast, right? Humble man in the same house, president, he come out of office, go back to the same house, the same security team, there, everything fit in the same space. Now Granger, at the old age, had to get a brand new house with all the new amenities and all these other things.
Mr.
Keep
Jones, I mean, respectfully, them thing is not house buy.
mansion,
I live in
sorry,
house. I live in
mansion,
house.
mansion, mansion. Keep the people them Lexus. You understand me? That wasn't his to take, but they left you with it. All right, you enjoy the Lex. We can dig
The
nothing with that.
veteran man.
And they're living the best life. They're living their best life. You understand me and Kosi. So it's a sad situation, but thankfully we have persons in office now who have the hearts of the Guyanese, or the Guyanese at heart, I should say, and they're interested in developing the Guyanese populace for the betterment of all of us. You know,
And Courdel, if we to go back on the opposition leader and Miss Annette statement, I'm gonna join in agreeing with what Miss Ferguson said, that the opposition leader must go. Because, and this has nothing to do with the opposition leader. If persons want to ascribe it to him, that's their business. You see, when you're big and you ain't got sense, is a bad thing. No, back to the opposition leader. You want to produce the SOP and throw them up. You see what they're doing? You were during the recount period, Mr. Aubrey Norton. I could remember some of them vividly. Mr. Aubrey Norton, Christopher Jones. They had the other one with him, and they get the call name Lampin Pampi. Can't remember them.
Sherrod, and Christopher
Yeah.
was Lampi and Pampi.
We had Aubrey Norton. It was this guy who used to control the broadcasting, Leonard Craig. These were the daily comedians. Every day they got the most frivolous, pitiful defense to transparent. You could see it. Now you you became the opposition leader. You know you get little ambitious things happening for you. Brother man, you're not gonna distance yourself from that. The people them that literally benefited from the whole 2015, 2020 period.
Right.
The extra period in illegality where we give away
Right.
5 billion for 200 million and them thing. The real beneficiary ain't saying nothing, ain't saying, and you just there suffering because nobody even riding with you. One of them is your big house and throwing you on a bus. You never get for build a big house.
And that's what saying, and Kosi, the guy, the people don't support him. And he can't do anything. He can't do anything. If he is more likely to receive flack than Annette. Because today, David Granger could write a letter to the clerk of the assembly and recall Aubrey Norton from this. You say you like Simona said, back up yourself. Granger will tell you, back up yourself, Aubrey. Back in Congress, please.
But
you
let me say
understand?
something. Miss Brooms, she don't have the moral authority either, in my opinion, to say anything. Because she is one of them that I'm speaking of that sit down for 3 years the governor. And let me put it accurately. For 3 years the governor, and the rest was illegality.
Yeah,
And everybody,
definitely.
everybody likes improve. A good life, they get a good life. Me saying how, cause nobody in the life but me, I poor. But for their life improved, whilst my life didn't, your life didn't. Almost every other Guyanese that wasn't all or associated to the PNC at a high level, cause Aubrey was, and he didn't get either.
Yeah, yeah. But Aubrey
And he
wasn't
were the person
associated
now.
at.
Had I been the opposition leader, I would have called back to her and asked her to be quiet.
Yeah,
Because what are you doing? I must back myself. You back your track record, me. I can't defend her. And I would have, man, I don't know. I would have
yeah.
acted
But
differently because I
you
would have put
see,
it to her. They left the
but
man with nothing to defend and
yeah,
then telling him how back himself.
Ed Kosi, what we need to remember, Aubrey Norton was the advisor to the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport on youth. He was a youth advisor to the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport. So Aubrey developed no policy. Aubrey didn't do anything of significance. He didn't run no ministry. He had no chance to really like thief no money or do nothing of them sort.
He
Now
had no chance to
imagine
defend
they have a
him.
person who actually is allegations have been made of corrupt activities in while they were in government, and the person is able to talk about Aubrey
He
like
could
that.
call me out.
You understand me? It's a sad situation, but it is what it is. What we gonna
But
do?
his silence in the face of these things, it just exposes his weakness. I mean, even if he had the backing, he ready for the work. He ready for the work. And in my humble opinion, he no different from the last opposition leader we had in Joseph Harmon. He in
Well,
no, and
you know,
it seemed to me like quality leadership is something that is woefully lacking over there. We seen it in the elders, we seen it coming up in the youth ranks. This is what's going on over there.
to me, I think Joseph Harmon was a little more analytical and politically savvy. Um, he. I say this because whilst Joseph Harmon was a part of the government, I didn't see the behavior that is often displayed by R.V. Norton coming out of Joseph Harmon. Um,
He's a more political, mature person.
right. So he was willing to collaborate. He was willing to have discussion, willing to shake a hand, willing to interact with people. You understand? With R.B. Norton, it's just to me brute force and ignorance. You understand? Brute force and
Oh, he,
ignorance. And he's surrounding himself with persons of the same caliber. So you can see Carol Joseph, you can see Elizabeth Niles, you can see the PRO, the little short girl who was at Mocha, place your head in good with the excavator, man. You as a human play your head in good with a 320 excavator. See who go with your comic. You understand? Trying to put forward that housing was illegally destroying these people land that like they own. You understand? These people are ridiculous. These people are ridiculous. And it would be sad to see the day that any one of them make it into leadership of this country. I really and truly. But at this point in Kosi, I am going to um, start our wrap up music because we've come to that time. Right? So, to all the persons tuning in this morning, thank you guys for tuning in to the live. Make sure you share it so persons who probably didn't get to see it during this morning period can look at it a little later during the day. Again, condolences to the family and friends of those persons in Madia who would have lost relatives, loved ones in that tragic fire happening at the dormitory at the Madia Secondary School. Currently, government officials are on the ground. Prime Minister, Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Ben, and Minister of Education, Priya Manik Chand, they are on the ground offering assistance in whatever way they can. Hats off to the persons at the private air services who were able to lend their aircrafts to the government or join the government in this effort to rescue persons who were grievously injured in that fire, and to bring them, whisk them away to safety in terms of getting medical attention at more advanced medical facilities. Hats off to the GDF people who are out there lending a hand, members of the Guyana Fire Service who are in Madia, and also members of the Guyana Fire Service who are from Georgetown who flew in to give assistance there, members of the CDC, cabinet members, all the persons who are involved in this effort. After this tragic incident, hats off to you guys. Continue to do a good job. Condolences to the families again, as I would have said, and I'll hand it over to Nkosi to do the closing.
I would just like to implore my fellow Guyanese at this moment, let's just keep a prayer in our hearts for the loved ones of those that might have been affected, that might have died. For those that are injured, let's pray for their recovery. Most importantly, let's pray for their safety. We don't want any more lives from this unfortunate accident. At the moment, we're grateful for the efforts that have been collaborated to bring some form of normalcy in the situation. I was told that the residents of Madia, they assisted as best as they could whilst the fire raged. I mean, as I said earlier, there was nothing the fire service could have done. So that in itself is very sad. As you go about your day today, just continue to be good Guyanese people. I heard that thing from a program I used to listen. I can't remember where. Just continue to be good Guyanese people. Look out for somebody who might not be looking out for you. And today, let's be good. We already had enough sadness in our country. So today we're going to try our best to be good. Go to ourselves, go to each other. And in general, just good people. Tomorrow, we'll try to be careful if we can be good. But for today, it's good.
All right, guys, that's all for us. Enjoy the rest of your morning and the day. Remember to tune in right here tomorrow with Kevon and Nkosi for another edition of the Morning Wrap.
Courdel, we can have the video. We can have the video there with Annette just before we need the persons to know what is coming up, what is in store for the future.
Okay, well let me stop the music because I want them to hear clearly.
Withering of the palm. As the palm withers.
Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you something. I'm PNC, APNU, and I will remain just this. Because I know Nancy's not going to be the leader all the time, Uncle Bunbury. Nancy's not going to be the leader. So we got to look.
No, I think I carry out through some dark times. Y'all might end up voting against these seats next election.
No, we can't. We got that new leader before the elections.
What does Barry want?
So, yeah, you heard it, folks. They got to get a new leader before the elections. You heard it right here on the Morning Wrap.
You heard it from a member there.
Right? So, it was really great being with you guys this morning. Remember, local government elections are coming up as well. So, make sure you know where to vote, who your candidates, and vote for who is supporting you. Vote for development. That's all for this morning. See you guys tomorrow morning for another edition of The Wrap.
This is Quincy Anderson. You know I love my country. There's no other country better than mine. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces.